Good morning from California. Yes, as I mentioned in previous videos, here reporting from California. I'm here in the Oxnard area, and I'll be here up until I think the 20th is when I get out and go back home to Tucson, Arizona. Here in the hotel room, and I was getting ready this morning, and as I normally do, I listen to the news. And I saw the little show going on. I actually caught it just as it started, so I didn't miss anything. And we had the Democrat clowns in front of the microphone. And Nancy Stretch Mark Pelosi started off the show with the introduction of Articles of Impeachment. And she started off by declaring it was a sober and sad moment. Very sad that we have to do this. And then they would trade microphones, and they would get off to the edge of the screen to where you can barely see them, except for maybe the corner of their mouths. And you could see they're all giddy with each other and giggling and laughing. And then they would have to take over the microphone again. So it just brings us great displeasure in doing this. And although it's the third time in our nation's history, in order to protect the Constitution and our way of life, I need to do this. So, they claimed Donald Trump was a threat to the Constitution. And he shattered the rule of law. Shattered the rule of law. Notice none of these statements were used against either Clinton, Hillary or Bill Clinton, as they were rampaging America and stealing left and right from every freaking charitable organization they themselves developed. No. They didn't complain about the Clintons when pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, who supplied underage boys and girls to many, many politicians. They didn't complain about the Clintons visiting Jeffrey Epstein's island, no, and taking pleasure, partaking in a little flesh, little young flesh. No. The two articles of impeachment, I'll get a little bit more serious here. The two articles of impeachment were abuse of power. Let me silence this. Were an abuse of power, and I love this. They've been claiming this for ever since he's been in office now. He so much as stands his ground, stands up to them, calls them a liar. Any word that they hear that doesn't, and it kind of reminds me of the old witch hunting days when they would burn witches and torture them to hear a confession. But it kind of reminds me of that. If they don't hear exactly what they want to hear, they don't hear nothing. You know, it's funny. They would literally take witches, they would torture them until they confessed their sins. And any other word wasn't good enough. This is the same thing they've been accusing him. So much as defends himself. You're obstructing justice, they claim. So those are the two articles of impeachment, abuse of power and obstruction. It is amazing. It truly is amazing. The thing that bothers me the most, how did this all start? I watched 15, 20 minutes of that show, the introduction. It's called the introduction of the Articles of Impeachment. And then after they left the screen, the regular news broadcasting returned. So now they got 5 hours of reporting to do on this 15 minutes, get those ratings up. And I've been listening to them. the Articles of Impeachment by Nancy Pelosi and her gang, as well as the news that followed, didn't mention one thing about, little pause for dramatic pause. How did this all start? They accused him of quid pro quo. Yet, nowhere in their 15 minutes of fame introducing these articles of impeachment, nor the news that followed afterwards mentioned quid pro quo. Nobody's mentioning quid pro quo no more because it failed. It failed, and what they do is they turn the words around. Now they call it bribery. Kind of like global warming. Remember global warming? It was a little scam put on the global community to raise their taxes to basically pay to breathe. I'm not misquoting that. It was basically you breathe, you pay for that breath of air. People started to see through global warming. Lord and behold, one day it started raining. Poof, I got an idea. We'll call it climate change. This way, no matter if it gets warmer, colder, if it gets dark, light, it covers all the bases. And that's exactly what they're doing here. They went after him for quid pro quo. That didn't work. They changed the vernacular to bribery. By the way, we need to talk about bribery for a second. Bribery is where it hurts somebody. One person makes a game. You will do this or I will do that. That's what bribery is. He didn't do that. They see that didn't work. Now they're just claiming it was just an abuse of power. Yet abuse of power is that one of those blanket statements where they don't really fill in the details. What was exactly? Can you really pinpoint what exactly was the action that abused the power? No, it's just abuse of power and obstruction are the two articles of impeachment, what they're impeaching him for. No longer is it quid pro quo even mentioned anymore. It is not mentioned anymore. It wasn't mentioned yesterday. It wasn't mentioned today. And it won't be mentioned tomorrow. Now, as the title of this video says, there is going to be a silver lining. As of yesterday, Donald Trump's ratings have increased yet again, up to 52%. I think this is backfiring on the Democrats. They have nothing to offer the American people no longer. So what they do is they just call you a name, and that's their procedure in winning an election. I also think they're doing something else here that no one's talking about. The big elephant in the room. Now they're setting the groundwork for when he does get elected again to go after him all over again for election fraud. See, we told you, and the Senate didn't vote to to impeach, so it's the Senate's fault also. It's those damn pesky Republicans. Now he's won again. We told you he would win. And the only way he would have won is if he got outside help. We told you it's the damn Ukrainians and it's the Russians and it's the Chinese. Everybody's hacking our election. Yet they will never tell you which voting machine was hacked into. None? No, none? None? How did they hack the election? Oh, they sent out a couple of emails to some people. That's how they hacked out the election? People opened up their emails and it said vote for Trump? Is that the best you got? That's how you hack an election? Not one election machine was found to be hacked into. Not one. Anyway, folks, I'd appreciate it if you would click that little bell icon. It's going to let you know every time I put out a new video. leave me a comment, and if you haven't subscribed, I really would appreciate it. And as I promised, I'm going to do some more silver videos. Actually, the wife and I, we're going to make a silver purchase really quick here, right around Christmas time, I think, maybe. And we're going to do an open boxing, or I'll do the open boxing. My time here is running short, so I gotta go. Anyway, thanks again. Please subscribe, leave a comment, click the bell icon, and don't fall for the lies in the news. Take care.